Hi, and welcome to your 2014 SEC Football Preview. I'm Andy Staples for SI.com. I'm here with Zach Ellis. We're talking SEC football, no longer the conference of the defending national champs. But let's talk about this league, the QB talent drain. What happens in this league with a bunch of new quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about like returning production. You've got Dak Prescott at Mississippi State and Bo Wallace up at Ole Miss. Really, the returning productive leaders.
Dr. Bo is no longer a resident. He's now an attending.
Yeah, he's now the head of the class up there, and it's pretty impressive to think that those are two names you wouldn't expect in a league like this to be coming back as the most, seasoned veterans as far as quarterbacks are concerned. But there's so many questions and question marks concerning a lot of teams right now. Are they just going to have to, ride a year where they're not sure exactly what they're going to have at quarterback, or are there going to be, new stars that step up and become, some quarterbacks that we didn't expect them to be? Matty Mock's a good example of that at Missouri, doing that last year.
Hudson Mason got to finish the season at Georgia when Murray was hurt.
Right.
It is interesting that they have guys with some experience. And when Jeff Driscoll, for example, coming off a broken leg at Florida, how's he going to do? Is he going to be 100%? They're going to ask him to run more. Will he be the quarterback Florida had originally recruited him to be? It could really change the dynamics of the league depending on how these quarterbacks develop.
Right, and when we just don't know what to expect yet. I mean, you look at Jeff Driscoll last year, his injury pretty much sent Florida's season downhill after that. So, I mean, who does that happen to this year? Who steps up? Is a Jacob Coker a guy that steps up and is able to kind of fill those shoes of an A.J. McCarron? He's getting a lot of hype. He's one of those names you're going to have to watch at that quarterback position.
Speaking of Alabama, and this question will make fans of not Alabama sick, but, they think it's the end of the world in Tuscaloosa to finish the season on a 2-game losing streak.
Horrible.
How does Alabama bounce back?
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of have to look at that and say that they lose a guy that a lot of people didn't have a lot of respect for sometimes, and A.J. McCarron at quarterback, for as efficient and productive as he could be in that system. And now they have to go in there. They have their talent at the running back position, obviously, still, and they're still going to be as defensively sound as they always have been. But being able to bounce back from 2 straight losses, which is catastrophic in Tuscaloosa, at a time when Auburn is seemingly on the rise, their rival, that's the big question, too, looking at them, is saying how are they going to be able to deal with a guy like Gus Malzahn kind of nipping at Saban's heels in that state and the conference.
Well, and that is a deep West. You talk about Mississippi State has Bernardrick McKinney, Chris Jones, a pretty solid defense, and Dak Prescott at quarterback. Ole Miss has some stars.
Right.
Laquan Treadwell, Laramie Tunsil. LSU has a bunch of young skill position players with a very experienced offensive line, and their defense is usually pretty good. Is it going to be one of those years where we see a team like Mississippi State in 2010 finishes 15th in the country and 5th in the West?
Yeah, I mean, the only team that really you could see struggling really badly would have to be Arkansas in that division right now, considering what they have. But I mean, yeah, that whole division has really been. You can argue it's the toughest in the country, and right now it's definitely the deepest, because that's been the criticism of teams like Mississippi State and Ole Miss right now, is not being able to catch up with the LSU's, the Alabamas, the Auburns, and now the Texas A&M jumping in there too. This year it seems like it's really kind of a mixed bag in that division. It's going to be fun to watch.
And you move over to the East, which is probably not as good, but maybe as evenly matched. We don't know. It doesn't look like there's a team that's just going to run away with it. So how does the East shake out? Who has the advantage, and how soon will we find out who's real in that division and who is just playing for next year?
I mean, I think you're going to see it probably shake out to a South Carolina, Georgia, and Missouri, I think, fight there, because we're not sure exactly what to go with Florida with their offense, what exactly their health is going to be, how Kurt Roper kind of changes things up there for a guy like Muschamp, who's probably is fighting for his job at this point. But I think you're seeing a 3-team race probably shake out there. But who is this year's Missouri and pops up out of nowhere? That's something we don't know yet.